This is your hometown station, WDBJ 7.
Good evening. This is News 7 at 11. I'm Jane Karlen. 2 people are dead, 3 others hospitalized after a shooting spree in northwest Roanoke today. Police say a jealous ex-boyfriend killed his former lover and shot 3 people, including a baby. Then he drove away and killed himself. Maureen Walsh reports.
Witnesses say it was around 2 in the afternoon. 9 people were inside this Hunt Manor apartment on Hunt Street. Some of the men were about to go out and shoot some pool. Instead, James Frederick Hunt came to the door. Hunt and his ex-girlfriend were arguing in the doorway when he pulled out a .357 Magnum. Hunt shot the woman more than once and then shot another man.
A witness told us he was huddled in a corner, shielding another woman and her baby. He said that Hunt targeted them, but his gun failed to fire twice. The witness said to Hunt, "Hey, she has a baby." Hunt said something like, "Damn her baby." Then he shot the 5-month-old and her mother. 2 toddler-age girls were upstairs during the shooting, but they were not harmed.
Tony Barlow heard the shots.
I looked out the window and seen a tall, light-skinned guy run to a big green car.
Barlow ran into the house and found the result of Hunt's rage.
A girl in the kitchen on the floor, shot a couple of times, I think, laying in a puddle of blood.
Police spent the afternoon looking for Hunt. Residents a few blocks from the shooting found him around 5:30. Hunt was slumped in the front seat of his green and white Buick. The 37-year-old security guard had shot himself in the head. Police believe he drove to the corner of Cortland Road and Rush Street right after the shooting. He parked his car and took his life. 3 of Hunt's victims were taken to community hospital. Hunt's 36-year-old ex-girlfriend died hours later. 5-month-old Kenya Harvey is in stable condition after several hours in surgery for abdominal wounds. Her 21-year-old mother, Tracy Harvey, was shot in the hand. She was treated and released. 36-year-old James Carmichael Smith was shot in the side. He underwent surgery at Roanoke Memorial Hospital, but his family doesn't want his condition released. Meanwhile, there's another tragedy to talk about in a tough neighborhood. Maureen Walsh, News 7.
Police are not releasing the name of the dead woman until they contact her next of kin. Bedford County authorities are investigating an apparent homicide at this hour. Sources say an adult male has been found dead off of Route 644 in Bedford County. A News 7 crew is on the scene. The holiday weekend concluded the way it started with a slew of traffic accidents. 3 people from Giles County were killed while traveling in West Virginia. Their names have not been released. At this point, all we know is that it happened around 6:30 tonight at the entrance to the Mercer Mall on US 460 in Bluefield. Closer to home, the accidents haven't been as deadly, but they certainly kept police and rescue crews busy. It was snow, sleet, and ice that caused problems for holiday travelers leaving town last Wednesday. Tonight, as they returned, it was just the sheer volume of vehicles. Traffic on Interstate 81 has been heavy all day long. At times, stop and go, due not only to all the accidents, but also the ongoing bridge construction. The bulk of the fender benders took place late in the afternoon. Roanoke County dispatchers reported upwards of 20 accidents. For rescue crews, it was just one wreck after another.
We just cleared up from one and come up on this one.
The worst came around 5:30 this afternoon on US 460 at the intersection of Route 11 near Dixie Caverns. 5 people were packed into this sports car, some of them students heading back to school at Virginia Tech. State police say the driver was trying to beat traffic as he crossed 460, but was hit broadside by this pickup. In all, 7 people were injured. Rescue crews had to cut the roof off the sports car to get everyone out. A female passenger in the sports car was airlifted to Roanoke Memorial Hospital. Her name has not been released. The official outcome of the governor's race will be made public tomorrow. Then Republican Marshall Coleman will have a week to decide whether to ask for a recount. Despite Doug Wilder's slim lead over his challenger, a number of top Republican strategists are telling Coleman to accept his apparent defeat. A recount would cost the state at least $100,000. Those strategists say even with today's voting machines and computers, the odds of finding a 6,000 vote error are slim. But those close to Coleman say he will call for a recount by December 7th. Republicans have hired top dollar lawyers and computer experts to compare returns with registration records. The Pittston coal strike could cost the coal company $60 million by the end of the year. That from a New York financial analyst. Pittston has already reported a $9.8 million loss in the third quarter, which came on the heels of a $3.6 million second quarter loss. Figuring in all expenses, such as housing and protection for replacement workers, the price tag could total $60 million. 7 guards were injured tonight during rioting at the Powhatan Correctional Center. The guards were taken to Johnston Willis Hospital in Richmond for treatment. No report on their conditions. The melee broke out during dinner, and it took 2.5 hours to restore order. No prisoners are reported injured. The incident involved between 100 and 300 inmates. Still to come on News 7, freedom at the voting polls in Hungary and Uruguay. But a much different story in South Africa. 2 people are shot to death, and tear gas is lobbed into a church filled with people.
And Janie, very warm breezes across our area today allowed Roanoke's daytime high temperature to soar to 63 degrees. It looks like tomorrow is also going to bring some mild weather, but a little bit more wet. Possibility of rain enters the forecast. Show you why coming up in just a few minutes.
This Friday, Saturday, and Monday only at your Dodge dealer. It's time for the big Dodge Holiday Savings Blowout. For 3 days only, get outrageous deals on thousands of Dodge cars and trucks. We've got immediate delivery, on-the-spot financing, and low sale prices that add up to big savings for you. Plus, save up to $4,100 with factory cash and package savings on selected models. Remaining 89's on sale, too. It's the Dodge Holiday Savings Blowout. Only at your participating Dodge dealer now. Hurry, sale ends Monday.
What's going on? Who's the surprise for?
Oh, come on, buddy. It's not a secret anymore. We all know.
Andy and Helen are the talk of the town. Monday at 5:30.
Police in a South African homeland tear-gassed a church and shot 2 people dead. The attack was reportedly unprovoked and may have been aimed at 4 veteran black leaders who were to address a mass rally. Police lobbed tear gas grenades into the church. More than 400 people fought to get out of this single exit. Meanwhile, about 1,000 white South Africans marched into the black township, Port Elizabeth, in an unprecedented demonstration for peace. The rare event drew a joyous welcome from tens of thousands of blacks who lined the streets, cheering and clapping. El Salvador's President Alfredo Cristiani today suspended diplomatic relations with Nicaragua after accusing the Sandinistas of supplying arms to the Salvadoran rebels. A plane crashed yesterday in El Salvador. Salvadoran officials say it was carrying missiles from Nicaragua to the rebels. The changes in Czechoslovakia continue today. The new party chief proposed a special Congress in January to elect an entirely new policymaking central committee. The new developments come on the heels of an unprecedented meeting between opposition figures and the communist premier. The premier then attended an opposition rally of 300,000 demonstrators. Rallies were also reported in more than a half-dozen other cities. The first truly free elections in 18 years were held in Uruguay today. About 90% of registered voters cast ballots. Unofficial exit polls are projecting an opposition party victory, with Senator Luis Alberto Lacalle projected as the new president. In Hungary, citizens were given the chance to vote on how a new president will be chosen. The referendum is the first in Hungary's history and is also the first free nationwide vote since the communist takeover more than 4 decades ago. And when News 7 returns, Mother Nature has delayed the arrival of the Space Shuttle Discovery. And Radford University students will have to get more than a mental workout to graduate next fall. Eric Earnhardt has that story.
Viva makes great tasting cottage cheese and milk. We love them. In fact, Viva tastes so fresh and creamy. Nobody realizes that it's low fat. And that's a good thing, because if some people knew Viva was low fat, they'd never even try it.
Viva low fat cottage cheese.
You bet.
Viva. Great taste that's low fat.
The future of time is global. With computerized IQ, intelligent quartz, only from Seiko. At a touch, separate subdials wake you and give you precise quartz time in 21 cities worldwide. Automatically, it's global. The future of time is in our hands. Seiko.
Now Hormel chili and Dinty Moore beef stew also come in single-serve microwavable bowls. It's just that simple.
The Space Shuttle Discovery was supposed to touch down tonight at California's Edwards Air Force Base, but the landing was postponed until tomorrow because of strong winds. The crew is now supposed to return to Earth at 2:52 tomorrow afternoon. That's Pacific time. That's 5:52 here on the East Coast. Sex education opponents bitterly fought for the right of parents to pull their children out of family life education classes, but a new survey shows only a tiny percentage choosing the opt-out option. The head of the state program says it shows the criticism came from a tiny minority all along. But opponents say the more parents learn about the program, the more likely they'll pull their kids out of the sex ed classes. Next fall, Radford University students will be sweating for their degrees, literally. Eric Earnhardt has that.
The days of PE class as an easy A are numbered at Radford University. Wellness 200 is an intense 3-credit course that covers topics like endurance, nutrition, weight control, substance abuse, stress management, and disease prevention. The class involves lectures, tests, and, of course, lab work.
The students get the opportunity to develop the skills as well as the knowledge to keep themselves healthy and fit through the rest of their lives.
Next fall, Wellness 200 will be required for graduation regardless of the student's field of study. For business management major Kemp Morris, physical and physical fitness go together.
When I'm in shape, when I feel good about myself, I have a tendency to work harder. I'm not as lazy, and I strive for success.
It doesn't really pertain to my major per se, but it helps me personally because it makes me feel better about myself.
People who feel good about themselves make good employees. Healthy employees can improve a corporation's bottom line.
We're looking at the constant elevating cost of medical care. And obviously, prevention is the cheapest and easiest way to deal with that. Now, we're not saying that's an absolute given, but I'll tell you, it's sure a step in the right direction if you've got people taking care of yourselves.
It may not always be the most popular class in a student's curriculum, but since it could extend, even save their lives, it could be one of the most important. Eric Earnhardt, News 7.
About 24 Roanoke families were without water for part of the day. A water main broke near the corner of Mumaw and Clovis in West Roanoke. Crew members believe the 6-inch main may have ruptured because of changes in the temperature overnight. The water department shut off water for 3 blocks near the main while crews repaired the line. Changes in the temperature overnight.
I don't know, wasn't that cold last night?
No, I don't know either.
Maybe the stress from earlier in the week when we had the big temperature.
Exactly.
Like the warm weather today?
Loved it. It was pretty.
More of it tomorrow. It looks like very balmy weather's in the forecast. But first tonight, we might have to contend with a little bit of fog. Talk about all that soon as we come back.
Once upon a time, a little girl and boy were searching for Santa. They traveled to a winter wonderland where they found talking bears.
We're looking for Santa.
He lives in the ice castle right in the center of Valley View. Just follow your heart and you're sure to find him.
Along the way, they saw wonderful Christmas sights, like elves at work and magical mountain goats.
Merry Christmas.
They even met friendly penguins who helped them find their way.
We're looking for Santa.
The ice castle's not far. Just follow your heart.
Suddenly, they saw the ice castle.
Santa!
Valley View, where your Christmas dreams come true.
Never argue with a woman. You'll never win.
Turn to Oprah. Weekdays at 4 on your hometown station.
Talking about some mild 11 o'clock temperatures tonight. Look at the Hill City at 51 degrees. It's 52 in Danville. Those are some of the warmest numbers on the map. It's a little bit cooler up in Stanton, but 42 degrees for the end of November is really quite mild. 43 for Washington and Richmond. It's 48 in Norfolk, and back over in West Virginia, we don't find any big cooling off process either. It's 46 in Bluefield. This is where the dense fog is being reported tonight, in through the mountain valleys from the New River Valley over to the Greenbrier Valley. It's 49 now in Bristol. Outside today, we warmed up very, very nicely. Look at these temperatures in the 60s. These were not records, but they were a good 10 degrees or so above average for this time of year. In the background, you get a glimpse of the decorations that are already up. Definitely the Christmas season is already in full swing. Overnight temperatures were very mild, too, mostly in the 40s. Radford did dip into the upper 30s. And there was a little bit of drizzle at times this morning here in Roanoke and Lynchburg, just to manage about a trace out at the airport. Speaking of the airport, they're checking in with clear skies now after being cloudy for the past couple of hours. Temperatures at 49 degrees. Humidity's up there at 83%. That's going to be a trend for the next couple of days. Breezes are now out of the northeast at 5, but they had been out of the south for much of the day, helping to warm us up. Pressure's holding steady at 30.07. Watch the satellite images in progress over the past 8 hours. Get a good idea of what's been happening. A weak little cold front slipped through the area. It's now lying just to our south across North Carolina. And you can see that's why we have a few breaks in the clouds for now. But that is not going to be the case for later on tomorrow, because look what's moving in. More clouds that are attached to a large storm system out west that Janie mentioned to you, bringing the winds where they were trying to land the space shuttle. Wind gusts up to 50 and 60 miles per hour reported all along the Rocky Mountains, and it looks like winter storm warnings are in effect tonight for Montana, Wyoming, Utah, into the Dakotas, and by tomorrow the Great Lakes are expecting that wintry weather with about 4 to 8 inches of snow. Otherwise, it's been very, very warm along the southern plains. Temperatures there today in the 70s, might even get even warmer than that tomorrow. Forecast map for tomorrow then shows us influenced by that high pressure that's sliding off of the coast. It's going to be clear right along the beaches with rain moving into the mountain state. We're going to be somewhere in between, so look for variably cloudy skies with the possibility of that shower slipping over by sometime late in the afternoon. And then the high temperatures tomorrow are going to be right around that 60-degree mark. We'll detail the warm and wet forecast for you as soon as we come back.
What? The game's on tonight! Emergency! Emergency! I've got to call my VCR.
VCR? Panasonic introduces a VCR you can actually program by phone. It even tells you what you program.
Recording is set for 9 p.m.
Yes!
And at home, simply use Panasonic barcode programming.
Emergency! I gotta call my VCR! Yeah, I'm just... Oh.
Available at Lee Hartman & Sons.
All right, look for partly cloudy skies tonight and patchy valley fog, especially for the next couple of hours. By sunrise, it should actually start to lift a little bit. 40 to 44 for overnight temperatures. Really not too much in the way of breezes tonight, that contributing to the fog problem. For tomorrow, then, we're expecting on and off clouds. It'll be warm, a little bit breezy, and by late in the afternoon, we have a small possibility of some hit-or-miss light showers. High temperatures tomorrow getting up into the lower 60s for many locations as breezes come out of the southwest at 10 to 15. For tomorrow night, looks like rain becomes more of a likelihood, about a 40% chance at this point, with overnight temperatures being held to 43 to 47 degrees. And then by the day after tomorrow, we're going to look for partial clearing and a change in the forecast. Afternoon temperatures are going to start in the 60s, but plummet quite a bit throughout the afternoon. Greenbrier Valley of West Virginia, looking for partly cloudy conditions tonight down into the 40s. Windy with a chance of showers on Monday, scattered showers and turning quite a bit colder on Tuesday. Smith Mountain Lake tomorrow, looking for kind of a balmy day with showers possible, high of 65 degrees, and then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll wrap up with a chance of precipitation on both Thursday and Friday, and notice what happens to the temperatures. Chilly, 40s for highs, 20s for lows. So we might get a sprinkle tomorrow, but we can at least enjoy the warmer temperatures.
I'll try to do that. Okay, thank you, Carol. What you got?
Got a lot of football to talk about tonight.
What's new?
Pro football. The Washington Redskins are hanging on to their slim playoff hopes, and Curtis Strange was the big winner at the Skins game today. That and more coming up in a moment.
With a 90% equity line from investors, even the most ambitious improvements are possible. Compare your bank to investors, and you'll go where the smart money goes. No matter how much money you're worth, with 6% interest checking, you'll notice the difference. Compare your bank to investors, and you'll go where the smart money goes.
When a mom with a couple of kids marries a dad with a couple of kids, you get a blended family. On the surface, they appear to be an average nuclear family. But in reality, individual members of this reconstituted group often have a hard time. Issues of trust, control, and identity can come into play. Successful family living, no matter what the makeup of your family is, requires time, attention, and effort. Hills, a different kind of department store, salutes the American family.
You mean you're all ready for Christmas?
Almost. I went power shopping at Hills.
Power shopping? Yeah, I got everything from tinsel to Tonka toys.
Some stores advertise low prices on some things, so they look like a discount store. Hills is different. We discount everything, every day. MasterCard and Visa now accepted.
Hey, where you going? Power shopping at Hills. We're a different kind of discount store, and the proof is in the price. Check us out.
Quarterback Mark Rippon threw for a career-high 401 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Washington Redskins rolled over the Chicago Bears 38-14. The first quarter was scoreless, but this Rippon 15-yard pass to Gary Clark moved the ball to the Bears' 30-yard line as the quarter ended. Several plays later, Rippon rolled right and hit tight end Donnie Warren on this 4-yard touchdown pass. Washington led 7-0 with 14 minutes left in the half. The Washington defense then got the ball back. Neil Anderson takes the handoff and fumbles. Monty Coleman recovers the ball at the Bears' 34-yard line with 12 minutes remaining in the half. This time, Rippon hooks up with Clark on a 5-yard slant pattern for a touchdown, and the Redskins led the Bears 14-0 still in the second quarter. The Bears spoiled the celebration moments later, though. Thomas Sanders takes the kickoff. He breaks a couple of tackles, cuts to the outside, and sprints up the sideline for a 96-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. The Bears trailed 14-7. Washington then turned it over. Rippon is back to pass. He tries to run away from the rush. The ball slips behind his back. He fumbles, and the Bears recover at the Redskin 40. A few plays later, Mike Tomczak hits Dennis McKinnon on a 12-yard TD pass over the middle, and the game was tied 14-14 at the half. Washington opened the third quarter with a Chipolo Miller field goal. Then on the kickoff, Washington recovers the onside kick in Bear territory. Rippon went to the air and found Art Monk for this 18-yard touchdown, capping a 45-yard drive, and the Redskins led 24-14 in the third quarter. The Redskins added 2 more TDs in the fourth. Rippon connecting on this 9-yard TD strike to Monk, his second TD of the half. And Ernest Bonner added the knockout punch with 5 minutes left in the game, scoring from 5 yards out. The Redskins rout the Bears 38-14. The victory moved the Skins to 6-6, keeping their slim playoff hopes alive. Now, Tampa Bay helped the Redskins today. Vinny Testaverde hit Mark Carrier with a 5-yard scoring pass with just 43 seconds left in the game, giving Tampa Bay a 14-13 win over the Phoenix Cardinals. The Bucs got on the board in the second quarter. Testaverde tosses this 5-yard TD pass to Bruce Hill, 7-0 Tampa Bay. But the Cardinals came right back. Earl Farrell caps the drive, scoring from the 1-yard line, and the Cardinals tie the game at 7-7. St. Louis was leading 13-7 late in the fourth quarter when Testaverde went to the air and hit Carrier on the 5-yard TD pass. Tampa Bay wins it 14-13. Don Mikowski worked his magic again today, tossing 2 touchdown passes to Sterling Sharp as the Packers edged the Vikings 20-19. Buffalo routed Cincinnati 24-7. The Colts over the Chargers. Kansas City shut out Houston 34-0. Pittsburgh beats Miami. The Jets get a win today, beating Atlanta 27-7. Denver clinched its 3rd AFC West Division title, routing Seattle 41-14. The Raiders beat New England 24-21. The Rams and New Orleans Saints were tied 17-17 with time running out that game in the fourth quarter. Now, the Virginia Cavaliers officially accepted an invitation to the Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida yesterday. The 14th-ranked Cavaliers will face 11th-ranked Illinois on New Year's Day. It's the 3rd bowl trip for the Cavs, and they are looking to add another victory to their 10-2 season.
Nobody wants to go to a game and be disappointed. And that, you know, you work hard all week, you support a team, and you want to go watch the game and at least have a little joy while you're there. So, and we want to provide that, and hopefully we'll be able to have a positive influence on football in the state of Virginia by maybe winning this game.
Virginia's 6-1 ACC record earned the Cavs a share of first place in the conference, with Duke. Illinois ended its season 9-2 yesterday with a win over Northwestern. And coming up, scores from the NBA and NHL, and Virginian Curtis Strange comes away the big winner in golf skins game.
It's still true. Nobody outsells Ford in Southern Virginia. Fact is, 5 of the top 10 selling vehicles in America are Fords. From Escort, Southern Virginia's best-selling car, to F-Series, Southern Virginia's best-selling truck. Plus, now get low financing or $800, $1,000, up to $1,250 cash back. Save almost $2,800 in options alone. The selection's great, and so are the savings. So hurry into your Southern Virginia Ford dealer now, before the #1 selling Ford you want at a great price is gone.
The perfect gift
You think she'll like this? She'll love it. She'll love it.
For the special time of year.
We finished the list?
Oh, we finished the list. Christmas.
At Leggett, give her the unforgettable gift of Napier. Affordably priced matching bracelets and pins, each in their own gift box. She'll remember Napier.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
From Leggett.
Curtis Strange avenged last year's shutout today by capturing the championship of the 1989 Skins game. Strange was hot all day, and his biggest payoff came on the back nine when he chipped in from 35 feet on the par 3 13th hole to win 5 skins worth $135,000. Then Strange sank a 25-foot birdie putt on the final hole to pick up the last 2 skins worth $70,000 and a brand-new Toyota Celica. Strange won 11 skins worth $265,000. For first place, Jack Nicklaus was second with $90,000 on 4 skins. Defending champion Ray Floyd won $60,000 with 2 skins, and Lee Trevino had 1 skin worth $35,000. North Carolina and Missouri will play for the championship of the Maui Classic. However, several college basketball games were played today. 9th-ranked Arkansas routed Oregon. Alabama beat Clemson 57-48. James Madison beat Evansville 70-60. Averitt beat the University of the South 98-73. Only 3 games of the National Basketball Association today, and all 3 just started a few moments ago. Portland led Detroit 41-30 at the half. The L.A. Clippers led Chicago 30-28 in the second quarter. The Lakers led San Antonio 29-16, that game in the second quarter, too. And a light schedule also in the National Hockey League tonight, but we see Buffalo downed Hartford. The Rangers topped Quebec 3-1. Minnesota beat Chicago 5-3. Vancouver led Los Angeles 2-1, that game in the third period. And finally, the Virginia's men's soccer team has advanced to the NCAA Final Four today. The Cavaliers beat South Carolina 1-0 in OT. Chris Kelderman scored off an assist from Drew Fallon. The Cavaliers will next play Rutgers, and that's how it shapes up in sports this Sunday night.
All right, I guess that'll do it for all of us. That's our news. Hope you have a great week. Good night.
The following is a commentary by WDBJ-7 Public Affairs Director Roger Fowler.
For the Pentagon, the handwriting is on the wall, and the wall is coming down. Historic changes taking place in Europe may be a dream come true for people in communist-controlled countries, but it's the defense establishment's worst nightmare. Continued budget deficit problems will put added pressure on Congress to cut the defense budget. During the Reagan years, we saw increases unprecedented in peacetime. In more recent years, we've seen close to 0 growth. We overstuffed the turkey. Now it's time to cut it. Under the old growth budgets, waste and fraud abounded. Belt-tightening is overdue and may bring back a degree of accountability. Defense Secretary Dick Cheney recognizes the international and budget realities. He knows an overstuffed budget would likely get thrown back in his face. He's ordered worst-case budget cuts from his military chiefs. But is Congress up to the task? Now it's clamoring for cuts. But will members have the same feelings after visits from defense industry lobbyists? Will they have the same kind of courage to cut programs which impact on their own state or district? Here's the bottom line facing lawmakers. Turkeys that have become pets are a lot harder to kill.
The preceding commentary was the opinion of WDBJ-7 Public Affairs Director Roger Fowler. Serving Central and Western Virginia, this is WDBJ-7.